This story is one of those moments in medicine where you realize just how much interpretation matters, especially when giving instructions. It involves a medication called Flagyl, metronidazole, an antibiotic that comes with a very clear and serious warning. Don't drink alcohol while taking this drug. If you do, the combination can cause severe nausea, vomiting, and other unpleasant symptoms. It's such a common warning that most healthcare providers can rattle it off without a second thought. One of my coworkers prescribed Flagyl to a patient and, as usual, gave her the standard advice. Don't drink while you're on this medication. Pretty straightforward, right? Well, apparently not. Fast forward a couple of days, and the patient shows up in the ER looking like she's been through the ringer. She's severely dehydrated, pale, and clearly miserable. Naturally, everyone's first thought was that she'd ignored the instructions, indulged in a drink or two, and paid the price. But when the attending started asking questions, her story took a completely unexpected turn. It turns out she had taken the no drinking rule so seriously that she stopped consuming any liquids at all. No water, no juice, no soda, nothing. She genuinely believed that the directive to avoid alcohol extended to all drinks. For 2 whole days, she avoided liquids entirely, convinced that taking even a sip of anything would lead to violent vomiting. Unsurprisingly, this led to severe dehydration, which is what brought her to us in the first place. When the medical team pieced together what had happened, there was a collective mix of exasperation and sympathy. She wasn't being intentionally reckless or ignoring medical advice. She was just too literal in her interpretation. To her, don't drink meant exactly that. Nothing to drink, period. After she was stabilized with IV fluids and electrolyte replacement, we made sure to sit down with her and carefully explain the actual meaning of the instructions. Yes, you can drink water and you absolutely should. We went over it several times to ensure there was no room for misinterpretation. She nodded, clearly embarrassed but also relieved to know she hadn't been poisoning herself by drinking water. The incident became a bit of a running joke in the department, not at her expense, but as a reminder of how important it is to be crystal clear when giving instructions. What seems obvious to a healthcare provider might not be so obvious to a patient. It was a lesson for all of us.